Hi, Kyle. It's nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this interview with us today at Pop Arts. We're really excited.
I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's start from the beginning. So when did you realize that you had a passion for acting and singing, and when did you realize that this is what you wanted to pursue full time?
Yeah, I originally found my passion for acting when I was about four or
Mhm.
five. So I'm going to be 15. So
Oh,
it's coming up like 10 years, which I think is crazy. But
aw.
my parents put me in a bunch of different things, ice skating and soccer, dance classes, and acting classes was just one of the random ones that they threw me in to see what I liked.
Mhm.
And I started singing Seasons of Love from Rent, which is not age appropriate for a 4-year-old, but it's totally fine. It got
Mhm.
me on my journey. But they figured out I could sing and they got me a vocal coach. But what really inspired me to get into acting, besides just singing in general that I loved, was Shirley Temple. I always watched
Mhm.
all of her movies all of the time. And I fell in love with how bright and her energy and all of her acting skills for such a young child. I was like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I'm the same age as her. That's crazy. But she really helped me take that first step into really wanting to pursue acting.
Oh, I love that. I love Shirley Temple too. I loved her when I was a kid. That's so sweet. And you said you're 15, right? So already at such a young age, you've accomplished so much. Has there been a specific moment over the last few years where you felt like you've really made it in the industry, or you knew like I'm making it, like I'm here?
I've had a bunch of those moments. I think
Mhm.
every single job that I do, I have one of those moments, whether it's being on stage or if it's recording in a recording studio. But one that stands out so specifically is being on tour and taking my first bow. That feeling is like nothing you've ever experienced
I
before when you're
bet.
in a theater with 6,000
Mhm.
people and they're all clapping for you. And I think that's when I was like, wow, I think this is exactly what I wanted. Like, whoa, this is crazy.
Oh,
It was such a surreal moment. And I'm so happy I got to experience that.
oh, that's awesome. That must be an incredible feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I bet, yeah. So transitioning into the acting part of your life, currently you're starring as CJ Suki in TrollsTopia, which is
Yes.
awesome. Congratulations. Was wondering if you could tell us a bit about your character, CJ. Do you share any similarities with her?
Yeah, CJ, I always say this, she's so much cooler than I am.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's what makes it so fun to play her. She's so bright and even more extroverted than I am. So I guess we share that quality. But she also has this kind of ease and
Mhm.
calmness to her. Nothing really phases her, which I think is so fun. She's really quirky. She thinks on her feet.
Mhm.
She's in love with her Aunt DJ, and all she wants to do is just to
Aw.
be just like her, which I think is so much fun, especially considering all the adult role models that I have in my life. But she's so cool, and playing her and getting to figure out like what qualities and all the certain little tiny details about her, I think is just so much fun.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, this show's awesome. And you're also on the Netflix series, Trolls The Beat Goes On. I was wondering, how did you break into this franchise, and what does it feel like to be a part of something so huge?
Yeah, I originally got the audition when I was about 10 or 11. It might have been just
Wow.
before my 11th birthday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I auditioned with a song in the sides and I recorded it in my closet. So it was kind of super silly. We had like a phone, just a regular iPhone, and
Mm-hmm.
recorded into the Voice Memos app and sent it away. And when you get auditions like that, I don't really think anything's going to come of it. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
one in a million chance. It's the same thing with self tapes, or if you're just sending something for something so big, you don't really
Mm-hmm.
realize how big it is. But
Yeah.
I got the call that I booked it and I was freaking out. I was so excited because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a troll. I'm literally a troll.
Oh.
And it was a great birthday present because I found out a couple days before my birthday. And
Oh.
that's what really broke me into DreamWorks in general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really fast in the recording studio. I think I recorded my first session in like under 3 hours, including a
Wow,
song, which I did in 2 takes. I did it in one, but I needed a safety, so I did
that's
another one.
awesome.
So I'm super quick, and I think that's one of the main reasons why CJ continues to be in this
Mm-hmm.
is I'm not a waste of time. I'm not going to take forever. So it's really great working with them. They're so sweet, and I'm so lucky I get to work for DreamWorks, Dream Team.
Yeah, that's incredible. At 15 too. Wow. So, along with acting, you're also a very talented singer. I've listened to some of your songs, they're great. I love your voice. And recently, you released your debut single, Average Puzzle Piece. And I was wondering what you could share with everyone about the meaning behind this song and the inspiration.
Yeah. Average Puzzle Piece, I think, was a great debut single,
Mm-hmm.
especially. It's so crazy to think that I released it in February. It seems like so long ago, but it really isn't.
I know I say recently, and I'm like, February seems like it was
I
yesterday, but
think it's crazy. Average Puzzle Piece is about being confident in your own
Mhm.
skin and in who you are. I've found that, especially since I've had like quite a different childhood than everybody else. Instead of going to birthday parties, I'm like filming something, or I'm across the country. So I'd always felt like I didn't fit in this puzzle of society and the world that I was supposed to. And that's where I kind of got the idea I'm not your average puzzle piece, because
Mhm.
it's not like I want to fit. I'm happy being my own person. And I wanted other people to get that message and know that it's perfectly fine being who you are. It's what makes you so amazing. Like there's only one you in the world. So that's really like the main
Oh,
message
I
I want
love
to get to
that.
the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. And your next single, 3 a.m., is coming out in 2 days, I believe, which is super exciting.
Yes.
So, what can you share with us about this song? What was the inspiration behind it? How would you describe the style of the song for people?
Yeah, I think 3 a.m. It's always a little tricky because
Mhm.
Average Puzzle Piece and 3 a.m. I'd say are in different universes.
Yeah.
Average Puzzle Piece is a heavily guitar-based song, which I love guitar. I started learning guitar over quarantine, like really intensely. So it was perfect to start off with. But I really wanted to have a more piano, like synth-based song,
Mhm.
because I thought it would be a really cool contrast to everything else I've done. So 3 a.m. basically is about missing somebody who you love and you can't quite get in contact with them, and
Mhm.
having to deal with the fact that you have to move on. And I think
Mhm.
it's really relevant across all areas, whether that's romantically, platonically, family, everything. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, which a lot of people think
Mhm.
breakup songs are about. When you hear a sad song, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a perfect breakup song to sob to, which great.
Mhm.
My song is a perfect breakup song to sob to. But it's really about losing a connection with somebody who you still love.
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet. I love the lyrics. They were really relatable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, what does a typical songwriting process look like for you? How do you plan out your next song? How do you write it? Like going into the studio?
I try and write at least once a week because
Mm-hmm.
my life is so busy doing a million things, but I always make time for songwriting because it's not a chore. It's actually for fun, which I think is so awesome about the jobs that I have. Is a lot of people don't like their jobs, but I love my job so much.
Oh,
Um, but writing songs can either go one of two ways. It could either be so fast, so easy, this everything's flowing in my mind, or I could sit and look at my phone or my notes or
mm-hmm.
a piece of paper for hours on end and never be able to write something. So I found the most important thing is to, when I have that motivation, act on it. I've been in school and I've just completely stopped what I was doing because I
Mm-hmm.
had lyrics flowing through my mind, a melody that I needed to get down, because it's once you have it, it could go to somebody else and you want to
Mm-hmm.
use it for yourself.
Yeah.
I always try to make sure that I'm not pushing myself and I'm really just letting my heart out onto a page instead of pressuring myself to get words on a page.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Love that. And so you seem like you have a really great head on your shoulders and you're super sweet and talented, but of course, we all know this industry can be pretty tough.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had a specific person that you've looked up to for inspiration, and when you do come across these obstacles that people face in this industry, how do you overcome them?
Yeah. I mean, I have a really strong family just in
Mhm.
general. My family has gone through a lot, especially when my mother and me left. We went on tour for 18 months, and my
Mhm.
brother and my father were left at home. So
Oh.
coming back to that was to try and be one family unit again was really tricky at first. So I guess I'd say I look up to my parents, especially my mother, who is the strongest woman I know. She has taught me so much on how to just believe that you are good enough and that
Mhm.
no hate from anybody else who's typing through a screen is it shouldn't affect you because it
Mhm.
comes out of insecurity. And I think that has shaped me as a person, that advice in general, because if you do get hate. I mean,
Yeah.
it online, you're putting yourself out there. And I think with her guidance and my father's guidance, I've been able to stay on the right path and not let it get to me. Hate is interesting because it does kind of sting when you get a comment that you don't necessarily like. But I
Mhm.
found that looking at it in a positive light makes me feel a lot better. Um,
Mhm.
so if somebody will say, I remember one video, they were like, "Oh, you played the guitar chord wrong." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Well, that's great." And I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, what chord do you want me to play? I would love to know. I'm always learning." So I use them as a learning experience instead of taking it to heart because I think
Mhm.
there's so much you can learn from hate comments and about
Yeah.
people in general that it's really influential and just trying to stay positive and have positive people around you.
Mhm. Yeah, you seem so positive. But that's a great outlook because there's a lot of hate comments and hurtful people out there. So it's good to know that you don't let it get you down too much.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Which I guess you'd be 20.
That's tricky. I really want to go to college. I Both of my
Mhm.
parents are educators, so I think a college education is really important, and especially it's
Mhm.
something that I want. It's not like they're like, "You have to go to college."
Mhm.
They're like, "Do you really want to go to college?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Oh.
So I really, really want to go to college, either somewhere in New York or maybe in LA.
Mhm.
And I hope to just be keep doing what I'm doing, I hope I keep writing songs and I have some good ones that I write, and I hope
Mhm.
that I'm surrounded by amazing people as I am now, and that support continues from the people who follow me. I think that's really important, and that I can get my message out far beyond what I have it now.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
And so my last question, I love asking everyone I interview this question, but what is your best piece of advice that you have for our listeners or people who look up to you or hope to go down a similar career path?
Yeah. The best advice I could give that I've been told by many people was the industry that I'm in has a lot of rejection, and that
Mhm.
could be because of hair color, eye color, skin. It's one of the industries where they can look at you and say no, which is
Mhm.
harsh sometimes. And I think just really building your confidence is so helpful in any career path, because when you exert confidence, when you walk in a room, other people can feel that energy, and immediately you are the brightest person in the room. And that's everybody's going to want to talk to you. Everybody's going to want to be your friend. People are going to love you just because you are being yourself and you
Mhm.
have confidence to be yourself. So I think the best advice I could give would be surround yourself with people who are positive and that help you boost your confidence, and start to boost your confidence in small ways. And that could be writing affirmations, or it could be journaling and expressing your feelings. I think it's really helpful, especially when you're trying to build your confidence.
Great answer. I could not agree more.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me and everyone at Pop Arts. We're so excited to share it with everyone, and it's been so great getting to know you, and I can't wait for your song to come out and all of the success coming your way.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. You're so sweet.
Oh, thank you. So are you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.